Hey folks, I'm making this quick video today, quick but deep, comprehensive video on the four difficult planets, what are called the malefics, Mars and Saturn, and Rahu and Ketu. And I'm making distinctions between them, and I want you to get a deep understanding of some differences, some distinctions, and also what I'm doing in this upcoming week for an upcoming course that you can also get access to. First of all, the things that I'm bringing out in this course and what I'm going to be talking about today are the qualities of these difficult planets, what are called the malefic planets, that fall in two different categories. You see, it says here the forces that challenge us, Mars and Saturn, which are the visible heroes. And I'm calling it hero because these are very heroic energies. These difficult planets are the ones that you use to really get yourself out of trouble and problems. And as you can see here, Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. The name of the course that's coming up is called Cosmic Alchemy, Unlocking Your Hidden Allies in Mars, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu, and turning the most challenging planets into your greatest assets and your greatest allies. And I'm saying this intentionally because really the point is that as much as we like Venus and Mercury and Jupiter and the moon, the gentle planets, because they give us things that feel good in the moment, we tend to overdo them. In fact, even sort of indulge at times. And then Mars and Saturn, as these visible forces, need to come in and fight against, for example, laziness, too much compromising and agreements and things like that, where we've slid on our principles and we don't have the courage to stand up and learn how to fight correctly. Or or Saturn, where we've gotten ourselves, where we've avoided facing difficulty and problems like health issues and other things. Saturn comes in and now we have to concentrate and really commit and focus. So Mars and Saturn are the two visible heroes. They show the things that we have to visibly work on. For example, Mars, we can visibly see what Mars is doing because it's things like our anger and frustration, arguing. We see it. We know what it is. Saturn is like our fears, which has to do with, avoiding things, procrastination, not wanting to face the unpleasant situation. And then we have Rahu and Ketu, the lunar nodes, which are the invisible heroes. These are the forces that confuse us. The visible forces or heroes are the ones that challenge us visibly. Rahu and Ketu are forces that confuse us more than anything. And you can understand Rahu and Ketu as the sort of inner child and the strict parent within. And they're kind of confusing energies where wherever Ketu is, we have a kind of almost irrational criticism and strict intolerance about certain things. And then opposite that, we're completely expecting that no one holds us to account because we get to make any mistake with the Rahu end. And it's this kind of illusion and confusion with Rahu and Ketu. But they're also very much these superhero energies because Rahu is this visionary energy that thinks outside the box, and Ketu is this hidden mastery, and the mastery of also, as it says here, letting go. So these are also these superhero energies, but they are invisible. So we have the visible and the invisible. Mars and Saturn are related to that fight or flight energy. Again, the anger, frustration, where we show up and we have to fight and learn how to fight properly. And and Rahu and Ketu, which are the invisible superheroes that give us, again, that superhero quality of, eccentric, outside of the box thinking of Rahu, or this embedded hidden wisdom, this buried hidden wisdom that we just happen that we just know, that comes in from past lives. We don't even know where it comes from. So again, Rahu and Ketu are difficult in that way, but again, great superheroes where we marshal up this intuitive wisdom from the past, which is related to Ketu, about the future, which is related to Rahu. And Mars and Saturn are the active forces. So this week, on March 17th and March 20th, I'm doing 2 bonus classes in anticipation of the full course next weekend. And as you could see on Monday, March 17th, and again, if you can't attend in real time, or if you missed it, if you're seeing this later, you can get the recording. It's Mars. I'm going to be doing the first one on the visible forces of Mars and Saturn. Mars, the warrior fire, raw energy of action, anger, and courage. And again, how to transform that and how to use that creatively. How Mars transforms impulsiveness into discipline. The balance between recklessness and boldness. Are we being reckless or are we being bold? Confrontational or courageous? Saturn is that guardian of time where we have to not waste our time, but where we have to deal with fear, pressure, karmic delays. Saturn makes us wait, makes us patient, makes us persevere through long periods of time, turning that stress and pressure into focus, turning our fears into hard-earned wisdom, where we learn what we're capable of, learning patience, endurance, commitment. Again, these are things I'm going to talk about in greater detail. And again, Mars and Saturn together, the fight or flight. Which is more powerful? Again, this is very important. Which are you more comfortable with, fighting or avoiding and being careful and cautious? This is really what the Saturn is. It's about being careful to not destroy. Mars is like, the heck with it. I'm going to destroy it, see what happens. Again, we need to harmonize these energies. So how these planets work together and or against each other, and when to push forward, Mars, or when to hold steady, which is Saturn. So that's going to be on Monday, March 17th at 11 a.m. Pacific. And then on Thursday, March 20th at 11 a.m. Pacific, there's the forces that confuse us, those superhero forces that confuse us, Rahu and Ketu, the invisible forces, the invisible superpowers, superheroes. Rahu is this insatiable visionary, also like the inner child. Again, and you can see how those things are related, because children are insatiably curious. What's this? What's this? And just, insatiable with curiosity, energy of craving. But then as we get older, restlessness and illusion, because we need to embody it more. Again, this is what I'm going to talk about in the free classes. These things in more nuance, because Rahu is like the head without the rest of the digestive system attached. So we can just eat and not digest. How Rahu turns confusion into enthusiasm and insight when it's channeled properly, breaking free from addictive patterns, because this is what Rahu can do, where we're just obsessed with external, senses and things like that. And then Ketu, it says the master of letting go. Very important now as we have all this energy in Pisces, but how Ketu transforms rigid criticism into expertise. How those things are related. The key to balancing withdrawal from the world, where we feel like we've been there and done that, to true wisdom and insight, and Rahu and Ketu together, that inner battle that's going on. And as you see, it says down here, the spoiled child versus the strict parent dynamic, how to integrate vision of Rahu with wisdom of Ketu. And again, as I said, these are bonus classes that are going to be taught in conjunction with the full weekend course that's happening that's March 22nd and 23rd, right? And we're going to take a deep dive into each one, Mars, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. And I'm going to go through, I have 4 modules, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and I'm going to just jump into all of them. I'm going to talk about them, how to transform and evolve that energy, and then look at them through the different signs and houses and how we can work with them. So whatever sign Mars and Saturn are in, I'm going to talk about them. And then with Rahu and Ketu, it's going to be the houses, because Rahu and Ketu interrupt or interfere or, with the houses more than anything else. That's the plan right now. But when we get together, sometimes, it goes off into some different directions as well. But again, that's something that you can see next weekend with the full course. But go ahead and register for it, and you'll get these bonus classes that I'm doing this week. And you don't want to miss them, because they're going to be really, sort of cutting edge a little bit, because you don't hear about these planets talked about this way. These four, what are called malefics, the two visible, Mars and Saturn, and the two invisible, Rahu and Ketu. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.